Welcome to another episode of The Neophytes, a special series within the Never Close the Inquiry podcast, wherein my good friend Thomas Maybe and I sit down and talk about current issues in politics. We are not experts, neither of us, and that's kind of the whole point. If we repeated our conversation today with the benefit of more time to think things through, it would be different, maybe in small ways and maybe in big ways. The message we're trying to convey is that it's okay not to know. It's okay to keep learning, and it's okay to change your mind. In fact, it's probably good. The fact that you believed something before doesn't mean that when presented with new information or upon reconsideration, you're still locked into that prior view. It's okay, in other words, to never close the inquiry. Welcome to another episode of the Neophytes. We have not spoken in a while, and luckily nothing has happened since the last time
Yeah, I mean,
we spoke.
it's been relatively peaceful and calm.
In fact, we could say, in a way, that little has happened because the government was courteous enough to shut down.
Yeah, because, problems happen when the government's working.
Right.
So when it's not working, that's when it's kind of really calm. Nothing.
One way of
nothing's
avoiding
an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get to that. Maybe what the government was waiting on. People are like, we really don't know when the next kind of jump off point is. Well, November 1st will be a good one with the. We'll talk about all this later, but with open enrollment and people getting on the marketplace to get health insurance for next year, and now it's more expensive without the extension of the subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
You have potential or issues with funding of SNAP, the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, something along those lines, but basically food stamps.
Yep.
A program that supports 42 million Americans.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised.
It's a very high number.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think
Like 1 in 8 approximately.
and another stat was that 80+% of those people have kids,
Right.
which, I mean, well, people worry that there's people like me that are single, living by themselves, and are like living off of food stamps, and that is not the case. There's also AI videos of people going around saying that they have 7 baby daddies, and there's a lot of misinformation and trying to smear people that use government assistance when like a lot of people are on it.
Yeah,
So-
a lot of people are on it. A lot of people.
And
Yeah.
and by the way, there are legitimate reasons for people like me or single people to be on food stamps. It's not
Sure.
anything, but just like there's just always a villainification, or whatever the word is for that.
A badification.
A villainification.
Villainization?
Eh,
You villainize somebody?
but
Not that villainificate. Villainificate.
villainification sounds
Yeah,
it just slips off the tongue better.
Villainificate. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. That definitely is. Yeah. That's how. Okay. We're gonna get to all that in due course. Wanted to start out, of course, by mentioning our sponsors. I here have a delicious zero sugar root beer from A&W. Very good. If I'm comparing it to other diet root beers, I think it really is the best of the ones you can buy in most stores.
I haven't had any other diet root beer.
Barks is okay.
Hmm.
Mug is somewhat less okay, I think.
Yeah, I don't really notice it being diet as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people come to love the diet flavor.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those. I think it's more of you just get used to the taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very scared to try diet root beer, but that one's okay.
Yeah, so it's quite no, it's good. And the thing is, with a lot of fake sodas, diet sodas, I should say,
Fake.
there's already so much science going into the real soda. Like, what's a little more science going to do to you?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a lot. We'll find out.
Well, according to the studies, nothing, unless you talk to people that are very, very sensitive about the subject. And then there's, you can drink like an insane amount of diet soda and you'll get cancer or something.
Yeah, I think studies I've seen. It's like you'd need like 73 Diet Cokes a day.
Yeah, you'd have to literally just drink it nonstop all day.
Yeah. What is it? Like you can drink so much water that you can drown. Yeah, it's like that, but with Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And then you might run into some, organ issues. And then you, of course, have Fresca, which to my mind is the only good flavored sparkling water.
Ooh, you're going to have
A lot of people
disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, no, but
I don't think I'm wealthy enough to know.
what's the French sounding one? It's not Le Creuset. That's different.
Spinelli's,
No.
Sporcadelli's.
No. It's the gosh dang.
Birkinelli's.
I felt like they were so popular in law school and then in New York, and I just thought these are gosh awful.
Are they in a glass bottle?
No. Oh, are you talking about like actual soda water, like Perrier?
Yeah.
Well, that's very different because that's not flavored. But I kind of
Well,
like it.
I feel like I've had flavored versions of that.
Yeah. Ironically, I like the unflavored. Not because I don't know. Yeah, I like it.
Well, it depends on the mood. If you're thirsty, then you drink water. If you're not, and you're just wanting something to fizz in your mouth, you have many options.
You have many options. A Perrier feels like a classy option. Like
is it the glass?
It's called Perrier. It's a couple of things. One, yes, the packaging is attractive. It's appealing. It's this nice glass bottle. It's green. Like that's a good start. Then it has a French name. That helps too.
Yeah, if you can't pronounce it, it means it's better.
Yeah, man, gosh dang it. There are people I know who have 6 of the drinks I'm forgetting the name of every day. But anyway, so
Capri Sun? Is that what you're thinking of?
no, not that delicious. I would never insult Capri Sun. But Perrier, okay, so yes, the packaging is great. The name is attractive. And then it feels like it doesn't actually taste good. And I think for people who no, listen, bear with me. For people who don't drink alcohol, like if you're at a party, and there are more and more people who don't drink alcohol, which is an interesting development. If you're at a nice mixer in New York City, perhaps, and everyone is carrying around a tumbler of something expensive and intoxicating, and you can do what I've done many a time, which is just either not have anything or walk around with a can of Diet Coke and just think this is just have a great time. Like, no one cares. But if you do want to like fit in, you'd get something like a club soda or something like that.
This is good for me to know.
And I think part of the reason club soda kind of works as something to pair with, or to drink at an event where people are drinking alcohol, is that it doesn't actually taste good because alcohol also tastes bad.
So you're supposed to suffer with everyone else.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, I've talked to, like I think I'm just gonna throw out a random number here, but I feel like 85% of the people I've ever talked to about alcohol are just they hate the taste and they're just after it for its effects.
Yeah,
but there are some people that just love the taste of beer.
Which is curious.
And a few I know like whiskey and
sure,
other hard liquors, but like I think most people are just
they're looking. It
there's
serves,
a reason people
it serves
drink.
a function.
Yeah,
it serves a function, and and maybe so if you're there drinking soda water, it's like its dual function is it's fizzy.
I'm suffering with you,
and
okay.
and then the camaraderie. It's common
Yeah,
experience.
we are the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to other sponsors. We are recording this on Sunday, the Lord's Day. So a brief note for our thank you for our primary sponsor, the Lord. And I thought, it would be fitting to read a passage from Scripture. And so I'm going to Matthew 7. This is in the King James Version of the Bible. This ties into something we might talk about later. There's something I'm writing about. We'll see if we talk about it. We'll see if I ever publish the article. So maybe no one will have any idea what this relates to. But from Matthew 7, it begins. This is in Christ's Sermon on the Mount. This is the final chapter of that. It says, "Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again." And then it goes on. But the thing is, I think a lot of people take that as just kind of literal counsel, not don't judge, and take the why as like the why is that God commanded you not to judge. Whereas I think there's another part of it worth discussing where it's like the reason you don't judge or a hesitancy, an unwillingness to judge is an indication of your own acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement of your own limitations and of not knowing why someone might have done something.
Yeah. I'm just glad the Lord's sponsoring this show.
It does feel big. You'd think
Finally.
we'd have more listeners, given the sponsor.
Yeah. Well, religion's losing popularity
Actually, I think it might be regaining.
in some areas.
In some senses.
Yeah, but I think there's been a nihilism overload for a lot of people, and they're coming back around.
Well, that's a big where no that we could talk about that for probably 2 or 5 days. Postmodernism and how there is kind of, certainly in America and maybe in certain other countries, maybe some European countries that have gone through many experiences kind of alongside the U.S., where there is kind of a growing skepticism about some of the fruit of postmodernism and a reaching back for something predated it.
I mean, to me, the way I view it in just a simple way is that when times are hard, people make decisions, and you can choose to have faith in something, or you can just say there's no purpose to anything. And I feel like those seem opposed, but I don't really think they are. I think it's just a decision that you make based on whatever evidence is that you have.
Wait, what do you mean? What kind of decision?
See, when you're mentally ill, like myself, okay,
all right,
and you view the world as, okay, we have all these problems going on. No one knows any solutions. We're super negative about everything. If we're taking this nihilistic worldview, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can say, okay, well, I guess there's just no point. Or you can say, man, it'd be great if there was a point.
Yeah.
And what is that?
Yeah.
And if you've lost faith in humanity, then I don't think it's a huge stretch for anyone to believe in God either, because if nothing's working, try something else.
That's really interesting. That's kind of let's put it this way. That is probably not the primary line you'd hear at church as to why people should believe in God.
No, but I don't think it matters how you get to that point if you believe in God, I guess. Like people will find I'm already going down a very bad hole here. So people will believe what they want to believe. And if they find something that helps them cope with whatever's going on, that's great. And I honestly, depending on, I'm of the opinion that people that don't believe in God and people that do probably act the same most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's not how a lot of people believe, but in my opinion, it's just a decision that people make to believe in or not to believe in.
Hmm.
And if believing in God helps you deal with all the stuff that's going on, and you're seeing evidence in your life that that's helping you, then that's great. But some people will view things as if, like, why isn't a God doing anything about
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
And which is like, that's a whole episode and
No, yeah,
10
no, but
to talk
some of
about
this
that.
some of this is interesting because I so two thoughts that I think we can talk about today, or that I think are interesting. So one, just out of what you just said. So one is, I think, what ties together a lot of people, this fundamental search for meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all do. Wherever you think meaning comes from, we want meaning. We want things to matter. We like it's part of making sense of the world. We like to understand where things fit. We like to understand where we fit, and we like to have a paradigm through which to evaluate what other people are doing. It's not enough for most people. I think it's part of why we have such strongly held political beliefs. Like a huge amount of what you believe politically, it's like outside of the one day in November every 2 and 4 years when you step into a ballot box and you vote for someone who will play a minor role in perhaps bringing some of what you believe to fruition, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
someone else wins. Like outside that, what some random person in Salt Lake City, Utah, or Queens, New York, or in Bensonhurst, Iowa. I think that's a city in Iowa, or Ames, Iowa. That's there's
Call out to our listeners in Ames.
many listeners in Ames. For whatever reason, Ames is very often put as an answer on New York Times crossword. I don't know.
Okay,
I
interesting.
haven't spent a ton of time in Iowa, but anyway, one of our greatest corn bearing states. What was I? Oh, yeah. What that person believes, like you're never going to impact, in a sense, the price of tea in China. Like what Thomas maybe believes about tariffs
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really matter. What we talk about tariffs here, and we have 100 of listeners,
Mm-hmm.
maybe if we're lucky,
And 100.
and 100 dozens. We have dozens of listeners, and we could get all our listeners, riled up one way or the other about tariff rates, and it will not matter really. In all
Mm-hmm.
likelihood, maybe it cascades into something greater, and all of a sudden, like our 100 listeners are the 100 members of the U.S. Senate, and then maybe we get like our parents. But well, maybe that'd be tough. But for the most part, a lot of us, our civics education, everything like that. Part of it, there's real value to it, I think, but a lot of it doesn't manifest as like us actually dictating the course of the country.
Well, your earlier point about like things mattering, or like your religion,
Yeah.
how it ties in. It's basically, I think a lot of votes come down to, and this is my experience living in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to, is the person in charge going to stop people from killing babies?
Mm.
And does the person in charge believe in God?
Hmm.
And it's kind of the same thing to them. But those are just core beliefs that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And so they basically just want people to make the right decisions in the eyes of God.
Yeah.
And that dictates who they vote for,
Mm-hmm.
more than anything else.
Hmm.
And so I guess, people on the left, their vision is, they want to vote for people that will kill babies.
I think that's the way it's phrased at the Democratic
Yeah.
National Convention. Yeah.
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 Or, there's many different reasons how religion affects our voting, but I think as a general rule, it's not really that complicated for a lot of voters because the issues are they're kind of severely lopped off as you either want babies to die
Yeah.
or
Or you want.
or you don't.
Yeah. I think the way Democrats might phrase it is you want women to have rights is the way it would be presented.
Yeah.
I'm saying the way it's presented in certain circles.
Yeah.
We do not,
We do not support the rights of women. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No, you were saying something
well,
else.
well, yes, obviously, but no, but yeah, no, that is interesting. It is true. I think the vast majority of people, their voting decisions are not driven by an in-depth analysis of wonky issues on
And
page 82 of a
I don't
campaign
think I don't think
platform.
there's like any reason to either for the
Yeah.
normal person.
Yeah.
There's just too much going on, and people have problems in their life they're dealing with, and to worry about politics that doesn't affect you directly, it's hard to sell to people that are already going through a tough time.
That's really interesting. This is before I get back to one of the other points you raised. You look at the campaign platforms from this last year. Trump's whole platform, the Agenda 47, whatever it was called, the whole thing was like 16 pages long. And it's very clear. You can disagree with all of it. You can disagree with any of it. And you can critique
is this
it.
Project 2025?
No, no. That's a wonkish policy focused thing. That's like 900 pages.
Mm-hmm.
That is not meant to. They're not sending out. The Heritage Foundation is not sending out its mandate for leadership to 80 million potential Republican voters across the country. It's accessible to anyone that wants to look at it online, but it's serving a different function, I think, than a basic campaign platform. The campaign platform very much has Trump's stamp on it, with the kind of odd usage of capitals and all that sort of stuff. But it's really short and it's easy to follow. And then the Harris-Walz campaign, I couldn't tell you about the whole the whole platform, but the economic plan alone, I believe, was like 82 pages. And that is long enough that the only people who not enough people are going to read that.
I would never read that.
Right.
Just straight up.
Yeah. And frankly, I didn't even read the whole thing. And that was before I was, again, working as a lawyer. Wait. No, that was last year. That was while I was working as a lawyer. Sorry. Disregard. So maybe I would have read it if the election were this year. But, yeah. No, long. Something to think about. But the other point you raised is how much people's individual experience influences what they believe about certain kind of constant cosmic things. Mm-hmm. So, obviously there are a lot of individual people.
I'm glad that you could interpret whatever I said into that statement.
Well, it's the way it jumped out. There are a lot of individual people who believe or don't believe in God or form their worldview based off stuff that has happened to them or someone close to them. So like they lost.
It's all personal, man.
Yeah, they lost someone close to them to some horrible crime or to a horrible disease, and a lot of people like that will end up leaning more forcefully into faith or something like that. But there are other people who, for them, that's like, okay, if this happened to my sister or my cousin or whatever, then there is no God. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a choice.
Yeah,
and it really, to me, that's why I think it's that they're not that separate from each other, because some people, even one of the 100 of people listening to this right now, if they have something bad happen to in their life right now, they have a choice about how they're going to react. And if maybe all they've known is good fortune and they've associated that with God, then all of a sudden, oh, well, this bad thing happened. like what gives,
Yeah.
and if enough of those things happen, it can bring people further away, and then other people on the other side can use those experiences to make their faith stronger. And I've seen both. I've seen both of those things transpire, like in my own head,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I've seen it in other people, and that's why I don't think it's really all that separate to me.
Yeah.
I think I probably do not. It's probably not a very popular opinion to have for a lot of reasons, but
No. Well, it's no. That's interesting.
it's part of the nihilism too, because
Right.
if nothing really matters,
Mm.
then it's like, okay, well, sure, God can exist, why not?
Yeah.
But like, there's to me there's when you're so far down the rabbit hole of not believing that there's a purpose to anything, um, you don't really care if there's a God, if your life or the world or the way that you view everything, the purpose of behind everything, if there's no really driving force behind anything, it's like, okay, I guess there could be a God. But he's either, interested in a very specific thing or not in things that I'm paying attention to,
Mm-hmm.
or just kind of hanging out or uninvolved. Um, there's many different types of gods for the nihilist to
That's really
to
interesting.
embrace.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It feels like I mean, it's not. It's somewhere on or near the path to the Nietzschean Superman,
Mm.
where you start and it's like nothing matters, and then you eventually create your own purpose. Obviously, a huge number of people do not have that experience
Yeah.
in life. Their path, one way or the other, is very different. Um, yeah, no, if we had a takeaway that I think is applicable to a lot of the other stuff we talk about, it's to be conscious of what of your worldview is born specifically of your individual experience.
Mm-hmm.
Both because I think it's helpful as a check for yourself, or both. I think I'm going to make 3 points. So one, because it's helpful as a check for yourself. Like I think for a lot of people, we each have our kind of our internal identity structure. I think Jordan Peterson. I've never read any of his books, but he has a book called Maps of Meaning. So maybe this is kind of yeah. Anyway, but we all have these like internal lattices built up, and there for a lot of people, depending on you how you have it built, there are going to be things that happen to you or happen to people that are close to you that do not fit within your existing structure. You can't make room for them. You can't understand them as your identity is built up, and it can all come crashing down. Whereas other people, you might have something that is either more flexible or can accommodate more anomalies, just more things.
And people will have an event and they're just not prepared for it. But
Yeah.
other people have maybe experienced something different or have a different approach, and it doesn't matter that much, and
Yeah.
it just slides by.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well,
Anyways,
with that, let's move on. So thank you to our sponsors. The Root Beer Fresca and the Lord. Okay, so next topic, I wanted to briefly cover the World Series. I'm obviously a huge baseball fan. I'm a huge Giants fan. So the World Series, much of it was very exciting. It ended very poorly as it possibly could have.
the only thing I saw was somebody fighting, or
Yeah.
everyone running onto the field.
So, yeah, benches cleared relatively early in the game because the Dodgers' first reliever, who has an Eastern European name that I'm not going to try to pronounce right now, but lefty, comes in kind of tight to a guy, and the Blue Jays hitter Andres Jimenez kind of moves his hand as if he's trying to get hit by the ball. If you get hit by the ball, you get to go to first base free.
Mm-hmm.
Free. It might hurt really bad, but you do get to go without having to get a hit or walking. And so it looked like he tried to get hit, and then but he didn't. And then the next pitcher comes in, and it's up and in, further up and in, and just smacks him. And so he's like, what the heck, and starts walking out to mound, and then everyone charges out. And baseball, you rarely, let's say, the bench is clear. It's not that infrequent. It doesn't happen all that often. Probably happens a little bit less in the playoffs. But it's kind of funny because everyone runs out of the dugouts, and then the relievers and other starters, or anyone that might pitch out in the bullpens, and now they have to come jogging in.
Yeah.
And usually the bullpens are out like beyond the outfield fences somewhere.
That's what I saw. So, it was like everyone was already there, and then a bunch of people are just like, just like jogging over.
It's like kind of a long way.
Yeah, it is.
And if they're really fighting, you got to run fast. But you'll see them streaming. Sometimes the bullpens are right next to each other, so these guys are all running out, like running in basically in single file next to each other, one team, the other team, and then they have to get up here where, I guess they don't ever actually start fighting each other, but that is what they would, kind of like they'd be joining the separate sides of this conflict.
Well, why don't they just normalize the violence like hockey does? Just let them duke it out, and then let them keep playing afterwards.
In the unwritten rules of baseball, I think that'd be like historically it might have been allowed to some extent, and even now you really don't have that many ejections. You can get away with a lot. Like technically under the rules, if a pitcher hits a batter on purpose, then you're supposed to get thrown out immediately. Mm-hmm. And now it can be hard to tell.
It's hard to prove that.
Yeah.
Probably.
So like sometimes you have a pretty good idea. This guy. So the two sides of it are, okay, so he did it on purpose because the guy, tried to get hit, and so he comes in and he smacks him. Don't do that again. But then at the same time, it's like a dumb time to put him on. He's the number 9 hitter.
Like
you got the top of the lineup coming up.
Why would you do that in a
World Series Game 7? No, and that's the thing. You wouldn't. What it also could be is that he lost a pitch in the exact same area he had just lost it. He just didn't have his control.
I don't know what that. Oh, okay.
Like he threw a pitch, it was too far up and in, and he's like, that was a bad pitch. And then he tries it again, and it's just slightly worse in the same spot, which is honestly something that kind of happens a lot because maybe it means something's just a little off with your delivery. But anyway, that's what happened. But and everyone was fine. The batter wasn't hurt, which was good. And no one fought each other. No one got ejected. And I can't remember if they issued warnings to the benches. Anyway, the game ended very poorly. If you are a Giants fan, which I am, Alejandro Kirk, the Blue Jays catcher, he's up there, runners first and third, 1 out, bottom of the 11th. Dodgers are up 1, and he breaks his bat on the ground ball up the middle. Mookie Betts playing shortstop for the Dodgers, which is astounding. By the way, began his career as a right fielder, and the move from right field to shortstop is basically unprecedented as far as I'm aware. Fields it, goes to second base, makes a great throw to first. Throws out Kirk by a lot. Kirk is he's listed at 5'8", 245. So he's
245.
Yeah, he's not like thin.
Yeah.
He's got great hands. He's a good defensive catcher. And he makes a lot of contact, but he doesn't run particularly well, which is
well,
like most people who are 5'8", 245.
Yeah,
he's not super fast.
Yeah, that's more like a power lifter or something.
Yeah. Now, granted, he doesn't really look like a power lifter, but it looks like he has the potential to become a power lifter.
So just heavy set maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but great hands. But anyway, so the Dodgers won the World Series, won it a second year in a row. It's very devastating, and now get a whole nother year of the Giants being in the same division of the Dodgers and getting to hear 2-time defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers, which is just awful. One kind of funny thing, so because naturally it did get a little political. So during the World Series,
because of the flag guy.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I saw a video of somebody running on the field with an American flag and he tackled.
Oh, that's funny.
So it must have happened during a break or something.
Yeah, they try not to show that, which is always a shame because it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. I
No,
mean, so literally the only parts of the World Series I saw
on Reddit.
were the fights or the people getting tackled
Yeah,
on the
see,
field.
I had no idea that happened. No, but yeah, you have America versus Canada, and the province of Ontario, I think it was, paid for a commercial to run, an anti-tariff commercial, and it was very well made, and it just included an excerpt from
Oh,
a
it
Ronald
was
Reagan
AI.
speech from 1987.
Is what Trump said it was an AI.
Oh, that wasn't AI. He said it was AI.
He said that it's AI.
Okay, I didn't hear.
So
I didn't hear that.
and for all I know, I'd like so I'm like this is my perspective. Like I don't care about
Sure.
baseball, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
one of your biggest flaws. But
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Okay.
I know. But the only thing I heard about this whole thing was Trump was just very upset that Canada had an AI video with Reagan talking about tariffs negatively, and it was like the Streisand effect where
Yeah.
like no one knew about this Reagan speech, at least in popular
Well, unless you're
culture.
like me, and yeah,
Right. Most people don't, but
yeah.
then like everyone else knew about it once Trump talked about it, and it's like, oh wait, Reagan actually said all this, huh?
That's really funny. So yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, he did say it. It was 1987. So here's the thing. Trump's economic policies are, in many material respects, very different from Reagan's economic policies. Also, there are other policies, I think, probably, but their economic policies are, maybe low taxes have that in common. I guess that's a big thing, but a ton of stuff very dissimilar. Trump has a lot of tariffs. He is a protectionist. He's more protectionist than any president or candidate we've really had in a long time. And Reagan was very much not. It is not difficult to find footage of Reagan saying something anti-tariff. I believe that one speech, I could be wrong, but the one tariff, the affirmative tariff thing that Reagan did, he put quotas on imports of Japanese automobiles. And it was a targeted, like limited term sort of thing. Very much not akin to what we're doing now. But anyway, so Ontario runs the ad, or pays for the ad. I think it's province of Ontario, which of course is where Toronto is located.
Mm-hmm.
That runs. It's really well made. Even coming, I think even many libs would acknowledge that Reagan was a heck of a speaker. Or if you let's maybe even take it back. If he had a good speech written, yeah, actually had some really nice speech writers. Man, he could deliver that speech. Let's limit it to that. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, great speaker. Really, really charismatic. He was an actor.
Oh yeah. I mean, he has practice.
Yeah, he has serious talking
He knows
chops.
how to deliver
Yeah.
lines.
But anyway, beautiful ad. Trump, of course, took major issue with it. I didn't know he had claimed it was AI. That's really funny. But anyway, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, came out and apologized for the ad, which is one way to play it. But anyway, because Trump threatened to hike
Yeah.
tariffs another 10%
Yeah.
in response to the hostile act by Canada, airing 1987, an excerpt from a 1987
Well, didn't
home
they
speech by Reagan.
didn't they vote against Trump's ability to do tariffs?
I love that you get these little things off Reddit, and then we get to talk about it. So, okay. So,
But they can't do anything about that.
no. So here's the deal.
So it doesn't matter. But
No, it doesn't matter. But here's the deal. So the president does not natively have tariff authority. That what authority he has been delegated to him by Congress, and
everyone hates Congress.
yeah, right. Yeah, no, Congress sucks, but yeah.
I don't follow politics as much, and all I know is people hate Congress because they're not doing anything.
Yeah, we'll get to
Supposedly.
that. We'll get to that. But so there are these two. Actually, right now the House is not in session, so that's literally true.
Yeah.
But there are these two acts from 1976 and 1977. I'm not going to get them exactly right, but it's basically 76 delineates. I think it's what constitutes an emergency. Like under certain emergencies, the president can do certain things. So that's 76, and then 77 it gives the president some tariff-specific power. So it's some economic for economic emergencies. I don't remember the names of the acts, but it's 76 and 77.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the tariffs that Trump has implemented this year have been in response to what he has called an emergency. These trade deficits that we have with other countries, so on and so forth. And so Congress can get rid of the tariffs a couple of different ways. They can pass a resolution saying there is no emergency, because if there's no emergency, then Trump doesn't have the power he can only wield in the case of emergency.
Uh-huh.
And then you could also repeal those acts entirely, I guess.
Well, he's used a similar train of thought for sending troops to Portland.
Trump he has made let's put this from two perspectives. From the right side of the aisle, you might say that he has made strategic use of the broad authorities afforded to him by the Constitution and by Congress.
Mm-hmm.
From the left, you would say he has
he's breaking every single rule that a president should not break.
Yeah. Basically, he has taken the powers that have legitimately been given to him and then gone way beyond that, but hasn't been checked at all because someone would actually have to do it.
Do you think that,
especially Congress?
Do you think that the Democrats would be able to not do the same thing he's doing next?
What do you mean?
So I can't remember the term of when someone does something that's against what's normally accepted, it changes the level of what's expected of that person. And so
do you mean like in a sense a shifting of the Overton window?
Overton window sounds right.
Okay.
So the next president,
mm-hmm.
let's assume it's a Democrat for this thought experiment here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they're more tempted to do some of the similar things that Trump has done, just in the opposite direction? Or do you think the party could have, maybe, I don't know if huevos is the right word to use, but the ability to just take things back and maybe even write some legislation or put some laws into place where you can't have an egregious overreach in certain areas? And that's obviously my opinion of it being an overreach.
Sure.
But it's opinion shared by many.
Millions in our nation of hundreds of millions.
More than n hundred.
More than n hundred. So I think two things. One, yes, I do think a Democratic president, absent any other change, would probably at times feel tempted to use similar powers. Yeah, I think generally speaking, it does kind of work like that, where one party does one thing or is seen as doing something by the other side. Mm-hmm. And then the next time this other party is in power, they're going to do the same thing and then maybe go a little further. Well, and it's fine because the other ones did it.
Like every time, every time executive orders are brought up, people mm-hmm. often say, well, Obama was really hardcore into the executive orders.
Only slightly, I think very partially true. I think it's mostly unfair.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't know. But I just hope that there's, at some point, someone says, okay, let's just figure out where the problem is. Let's solve the problem and then make sure that we can't have one person mm-hmm. be able to cause. So whether or not you agree with what Trump's doing, he's definitely he is shifting things around a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what I think it would take. So, I think you need to have a president who does not have something of a cult of personality. Like Trump dominates the Republican Party, and he dominates the Republican members of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones whom he does not like dominate, bend utterly to his will, are those who have, one, already announced that they're retiring. So that's like Tom Tillis, North Carolina. And you have like Mitch McConnell, I think. I actually can't remember if he's retiring. I believe he's retiring. Should be.
I hope so.
But, well, yeah. And
I mean,
then,
for his own health, if for no
right.
other reason.
And then also people like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, who have always been kind of Trump skeptical and have managed to keep their positions despite that. And then you'll have people like Rand Paul, who are maybe not.
Well, he's always been.
You're right.
Way.
He has a genuine libertarian streak, and he's always been. He's voted against his party many times.
It's the Colorado. What's her name? Actually, I don't know.
I think you're probably referring to one of Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski.
I don't know.
Maybe not. But anyway, outside that limited group of senators, and I think there is a similar group in the House, but outside those limited individuals, Trump absolutely dominates the Republican Party. And so like right now, Democrats will propose stuff and might get a couple of Republican votes, but you're not going to see any change to what the president can or cannot do coming from Congress. So, but let's say the next president, either Democrat or Republican, let's say it's someone who does not have Trump's power to bend the electorate, does not have Trump's power to bend the members of Congress of his or her own party. So let's say it's and whether that's someone like J.D. Vance or someone on the left like Gretchen Whitmer, whoever it is, let's just say it's someone who, for whatever reason, maybe they're great in a million other ways, but they don't have that maybe not great ability to just kind of absolutely dominate and become the voice of the party in every respect.
Yeah.
And so now Congress, that they know now that they're starting to feel on more equal footing with the president. And now I think, there actually was a lot that we didn't like about what Trump did, or we didn't like about the way he did it. And now he's out of the picture. And so we're safe in voting for these other things. And maybe, there was, in terms of ability to dominate his own party, I don't think Obama had that same ability. But probably more so than Biden, and more so than anyone I can currently think of on the Democratic side.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, I think you would need something like that. Like you get the no cult of personality. Congress is like, we're taking back what's rightfully ours, and then they can do that and get something passed. But taking you back to the resolution to getting rid of the tariffs. Yeah, so all Congress would have to do would be to pass a resolution that basically declares invalid the state of emergency. It's not an emergency, ergo you don't have these powers that are only available in the event of an emergency. Mm-hmm. And so the Senate voted on it, and it passed, like 52 to 48. And so you get every Democrat except Fetterman out of Pennsylvania. And then the only Republicans you get are, I think it was Collins, Murkowski, Paul, McConnell, and Tillis. But here's the issue. Well, there are two issues, and they are enormous. One, you'd need to get it past the House, and the House isn't going to bring it up for a vote. Okay. That's one issue.
So we'll come back to that after you're done.
Yeah. The second issue is that Trump could just veto it. You'd need a veto-proof majority. You'd have to go back to the Senate and the House and make sure it passes with, I think, 2/3 margin. And 52-48 is not going to cut that.
So I don't understand the mechanics of the not bringing it before the House. So you can just decide not to do it if you don't want to, or
oh gosh,
you can say, "Whoops, forgot." We'll try to do it next week.
So. There are some layers to this, and I have read about it, but not in a while. And so all these facts are going to be wrong. So don't rely on this at all.
Nothing new here.
But yeah, right. This is our ethos.
This is the podcast.
You are. Bill O'Reilly has the no spin zone, or at least he used to when he was on Fox. we have this is exclusively the spin zone. You are in. You're just going washing machine to the dryer and back and forth. Like it's just the spin zone. But yeah, so yeah, like to get a bill actually up to vote is a really complicated process. Did I write an article on this? There's a non-zero chance. I definitely drafted an article about this, but I can't remember what I published. Anyway, yeah, the Speaker of the House.
Well, why?
Why?
Maybe that's the only thing I care about, honestly. Like you could give me an exact definition and be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, another thing about the government I hate.
Yeah.
But like, why? I just don't understand if there's a decision that is put. If there's a big deal that needs to be put towards this group of people, and then like they just decide not to talk about it. Like, it just does not compute. I don't understand. Isn't that the function of the government? Like, isn't that their job? Like, there must have been, like, was there like a horrible abuse of power in like 1835 or something that forced a rule change, and now it's been this thing that whoever's been in charge of the house is taking advantage of?
Yeah, they back then they kept requiring people to vote on things and go before the American people, and it's like, no, we can't have this. What? I can't. Yeah, why? That's a good.
Oh man,
question.
I love my role on this podcast because I just get to be ignorant and just why is this way?
And the irony is, like, I'm the person providing a lot of the answers, and anyone that actually knows anything is going to listen. It's like, that guy's an idiot.
Well, we should have a call-in line. We should do this live on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. We have a call-in line where people, and call in and give us the right answer.
I mean, have you seen?
Should we do a live radio show for like 4 hours a day?
I think it'd be kind of funny to go online and allow any random person to call in and just talk to them, because I've seen some of those things on YouTube live where like there's a guy dressed up as a frog and he's got like green makeup on, and he calls him, I can't remember what he calls himself, but like people call in for like mental health advice, and it's horrible.
I bet.
because you get all manner of people calling in, but I'm imagining a group of people that would be watching a live YouTube feed of a political nature, and you'd get
obscure commentators out of Utah.
You'd get a lot of people calling in about all sorts of things, I'm sure. I think that might be fun.
We'll have to keep that in our back pocket.
Yeah.
To answer why, like, I off the top of my head, and from what I've read, could not give you a concrete, like, this is why, and it would be bad if we changed it. Obviously, there are efficiency things where it's like you can say, oh, well, it's not going to pass regardless, so whatever. But that I don't think is a very good answer. So I don't have a good answer.
Yeah, and I think
maybe
a lot
that's
of
something we can change. Maybe our mini 10 of listeners can change somehow.
Yeah, it's just another complicated process that I've never spent the time to learn, and I'll probably just continue to be ignorant about it.
All right. Well, or
not purposefully, but just like out of. There is a hopelessness that comes with trying to understand the government.
Yeah, no, the government is no, it actually is. It's pretty complicated. The procedures are quite complex, and then it's funny that you ask why, because often you get so tied up with all these different laws and procedures and everything that you forget that those were put in place by somebody, and they could be undone. They weren't necessarily put in place. Maybe they were put in place for what was initially a good reason, or might have seemed like a good reason at the time, but then, 70 or 100 years down the road, that reason might be totally gone, and it's actually bad, and Congress has the power to change it. All of this could be changed by Congress. Some other things that could be changed by Congress, speaking of Congress. So the government is shut down at the moment. And so it's not totally shut down because you have mandatory funding for a fair amount of stuff that goes on.
Like ICE.
Well, no, actually, no. I think that's discretionary. I'm pretty sure.
But they are funded right now.
They are funded. Yeah, Trump is. The president maintains a fair amount of discretion. Maybe not quite as much as Trump is using, but the president does maintain some discretion, and President Trump is currently using quite a bit of discretion to make sure his priorities are funded. And there are clear political reasons to do that. One, because Democrats are, they're planting their flag strong, and apparently poll numbers for Democrats have actually gone up a little bit, at least in the with Democratic voters. So like finally they're planting a flag somewhere and doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, there's going to come a point, and maybe we're at that point. We'll see, but there's going to come a point at which the cons outweigh the pros.
Well, who benefits the most from a government shutdown?
That's the question, and the answer is going to be different in the short term and long term. And I think the long term is that nobody really knows, and they'll probably forget about it by the time the midterms come around. So there's that. A very important thing to remember, I think, with politics. This would ruin a lot of talk shows if they talked about this openly. But people have the memories of goldfish. And you could have something horrible. Like, for example, in 2016, the Access Hollywood tape dropped. This is just the first example that came to mind. The Access Hollywood tape. Now, quick reminder. Elections in the United States are held on the first Tuesday-ish, second Tuesday, whatever. They're held in early November, okay? Which is the month after October in the Gregorian calendar.
You got it.
Okay. And in 2016, the Access Hollywood tape stuff dropped in October. It's like 3 weeks before the election.
Yeah, I actually remember that happening, which is weird.
Yeah, but it's like 3 weeks before the election, and you have a ton of prominent Republicans who are either expressing serious skepticism about their candidate or asking outright for him to drop out. But then it's like a couple of weeks later, and whatever, that was yesterday's news. And James Comey, came out and said about Hillary, it's like, you know what? We're looking into her emails. I can't remember exactly what he said, but something along those lines. And then people go to the ballot box, and granted, Hillary won the popular vote, but Trump won the election. This is like right after what kind of down the road ultimately it was, certainly one of the bigger scandals of his political life. And there's a point being that this shutdown, like, let's say it, lasts another 3 weeks, ends before Thanksgiving because they're like, air traffic hasn't been paid and people are about to travel for Thanksgiving. Speaking of that, we're actually traveling for Thanksgiving. So it'd be great if the air traffic controllers were
paid.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Or there.
Well, they can't strike.
But they can quit, right?
Oh, they can quit. Yeah.
I mean the issue is that the longer
they can just like not show up,
the longer it goes, like that's rent that needs to be paid.
Yeah, right.
And I can't remember the statistics. A huge percentage of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, it's a very high percentage,
and including a lot of government workers. So
yeah.
The 30-day mark is pretty significant for the shutdown because of that, because that's when the stuff actually hits the fan, and people, they're like, okay, well, this is just what happens every once in a while. We have to make it through this. But if they can't make rent starting into this month, they come back tomorrow. If they don't make a decision in like the next couple of days, I'm sure there's so many people that are just looking elsewhere at this point.
No, yeah, public dissatisfaction with the current state of affairs could increase dramatically over the next week.
Yeah, well, because it seems it's so callous, man, and it's both, like, both sides have participated in this, but
here's
the stuff that really bothers me. Is the branding of how it's the Democrats' fault. So like on That video that was shared in our chat where,
Private chat with many of our listener.
yeah, where basically a Democrat, I don't know her name or anything about
No,
her.
not a Democrat.
Oh, I thought she was a Democrat.
No, that's the Secretary of Agriculture.
Okay, well, Secretary of Agriculture
Something like that.
said the government's failing us. Like, it doesn't matter if you're red or blue.
We are actually going to check a fact really quick.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter who you are, who you voted for. The government's failing you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his bucket McGee?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson gets up and he's like, "Yeah, well, what she means by that is that the Democrats have failed you." And it was just like a brief. There was a brief 20 seconds of like someone being honest,
Yeah.
and then he comes on and is like, "Oh yeah, well, by the way, it's not the Republicans' fault, it's just the Democrats."
It is. Yeah, no, it's interesting because what Democrats want is for, as part of this continuing resolution or something, for Republicans to agree to extend the Obamacare, the subsidies for Obamacare.
Uh-huh.
Without those subsidies, which are no longer in effect, and something people will see this week as they start to enroll in healthcare for next year on the marketplace. Apparently, premiums are going to go up about $1,000 on average for people who shop for healthcare on the marketplace. That's a really significant number.
Yep.
Okay. Democrats want those extended. Normally, that would not be done as part of a continuing resolution. It would be a separate thing. And to fund the government and stop the shutdown, you would do a continuing resolution. But Democrats are exerting their power where, in one of the rare places they can.
Which is, it's dumb. It's dumb that this situation happens in the first place, where like the other party that's not in power has to like try to tighten their grip on what they have during this time. Like it's dumb that this system has been built or has become this way to the point where they can't get stuff through that they want, and so they just hold the country hostage. Like I don't like I don't like the fact that we're in a shutdown, but and I don't know who that benefits more, like we talked about who's about staying in.
Well, I got a couple more people to add to it.
Yeah, well, I just dislike that the system has been set up this way that it can be used like this. So while I might agree that those premiums should not go up by 1,000, I wish this was not the way that they could force the issue. I wish there was a different way. Yeah.
So like.
I'm just saying a whole bunch of stuff today.
No. A couple of things really quick though. I think here's the thing. For Trump, I'm not sure the incentive is there to end, as of yet, to end the shutdown quickly. Because one, you can kind of blame Democrats for it, although far more people are blaming Republicans for it. According to polls, more people are blaming Republicans for it than Democrats. So there's that. But again, people have the memories of goldfish. Mm-hmm. But Trump, with the government shut down, he does have a fair amount of discretion, and he's using more than that to kind of reshape the government according to his priorities. So he's funding ICE, threatening not to fund SNAP. I think they're going to fund it, at least in part. There have been a number of rifts or reductions in force that they've carried out in different departments where you wouldn't have really necessarily been able to do that during a non-shutdown scenario. So they're using this opportunity to remake the government further in their desired image. And the person running this is Russ Vought, who's at the Office of Management and Budget, and who is he was heavily involved in Project 2025, and he wrote the chapter on the office he now leads. And if it's basically the purse, the money goes in there, and then they are kind of the part of the executive branch in charge of dispersing it to everywhere it needs to go. Mm-hmm. So if you can put yourself right there, like there's a lot of power there.
Yeah, you can
And Vought,
you can choose.
yeah, no,
It's up to
Vought,
you.
I think is really, I think he's really smart and systematic, and like this is working for him. So Republicans don't, at least the Republicans in the executive branch don't have, the same incentive to end the shutdown, because again, Trump can't run for re-election, so he kind of doesn't care. And then two, or at least cares maybe less than he would otherwise. And then, well, also it would be in 3 years, but then Vought is using this. It's a big opportunity.
I wonder if there's statistics on who uses Snap and their political leanings. Is there data on
So
that?
that's the thing. I would imagine it's pretty well split. And even if it is there, let's say there are more Democrats who use Snap than Republicans, there's still going to be a ton of Republicans. It's not like there are 42 million Democrats and then
there's
nine
there's a lot
Republicans.
of poor people in big cities, but there's a lot of poor people in very small towns.
A lot.
A lot.
Like
going back to my time in Michigan, like that's who I was talking to. Was the generational people, generational poverty of, like a third generation person that's just living on a farm or just on a tiny little house or in just really horrible living conditions. And they have no mobility. There's no work. They can't go anywhere. They're just trying to survive, and they're on government assistance. And these policies hurt them.
Obviously a lot of these people are Republican voters. You go through these, Republicans win every rural, have won for a while now, basically every rural area in the United States. And rural areas are on average quite a bit poorer than cities. And there are plenty of Republican voters who are doing fine, but the point of this is that there are millions and millions and millions of Republican voters who do rely on government assistance to a great extent and are going to be hurt by
I do wonder if I do wonder how a Republican in Portland feels. Like, I wonder if they care.
What do you mean?
So the way that Trump talks about the blue cities and stuff, I wonder if the Republicans in those cities feel like, get him, or if they're a little bit uncomfortable with any of this, because it's where they live, right?
I can only say, let's see, I've never known a Republican. I don't know any Republicans in Portland. I do know Republicans in certain other major cities that Trump has had a problem with, and I think they often like what he does. But the other point I was going to say, so if Democrats, if I were a Democrat, honestly, I would vote to end the shutdown, because I think at this point, one, you want the government funded, you want air traffic to get paid, you want everyone to get paid, you want back pay for the people, like the people I interact with from the government or from the United States Trustee's Office, so the bankruptcy division of the DOJ, and they've been on furlough and haven't been paid for the length of the shutdown, and it's really kind of delaying a lot of what we do. So I've got some clients who would like the government to get unshut down. But if you're Democrats, okay, you end the shutdown, you get everyone paid, and everyone knows at this point, I think. When we say everyone, we don't actually mean everyone, but everyone knows that the Obamacare subsidies, that like the reason the marketplace is more expensive right now, that's not because of Democrats. Democrats want to extend the subsidies. Republicans don't. And the other thing from the Republican side, I still don't understand why. And I know Trump was railing. I've deleted a lot of my social media, so I actually don't know how I see any of this now. What?
You're not on social media anymore, or?
Well, I deleted the apps, and
well, good luck.
Thanks. It's been a while now, but
I've been thinking about downloading them.
Well, they're kind of fun, which is why I deleted it. They're honestly far too fun. Really kind of addictive and yeah, they take a lot of time. Anyway, Trump was railing about how bad Obamacare is. It's like, that's fine. That's all well and good. But if Republicans want to fix healthcare, they have to actually fix healthcare. And it seems like right now, when premiums are now going up by $1,000 on average for people who are shopping on the marketplace, it feels like an interesting time to try. I don't know what. Maybe this is me asking you. Do you know any? I know you're not going to know the answer to this, but I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what change they want to healthcare right now. I couldn't tell you what exact change.
Like
I couldn't tell you what the
Republicans?
plan is.
I
Hopefully, we'll have a Republican listener chime in.
well, I feel like most of the stuff that I consume online is about the really negative stuff. Like, I only hear negative things on both sides.
Yeah.
I don't, and so to me, the first thing I would say is, oh well, they don't care, because I've never heard anything
Mm-hmm.
as far as solutions to the problem.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm not going out of my way to Google what the solution is that the Republicans have put forward. If they have, I'm sure someone has. I'm sure there's a push by somebody. I hope, but I don't know that because the algorithm is not interested in me being informed. They want me to feel emotions because that drives engagement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hear all the stuff that's going to piss me off, and none of the stuff that's like, there might be some really great stuff going on. I don't know. Sure would be hard to find it right now.
So, by the way, you mentioned they're showing you stuff that's going to make you angry. I'm laughing because I was on YouTube recently and it recommended a clip from a podcast, like one of our podcasts. Like, that's,
Excellent.
glad that's being pushed out to me. But yeah, no, it's interesting. You'd think, I wonder, so healthcare is obviously very complicated, but it would be nice to see a coherent offering on the Republican side where it's like, here we have Bobby Kennedy in here, who is promoting health. Now, obviously people have, I think, a lot of well-founded issues with Bobby Kennedy, but he's pushing this kind of a more natural approach. He's pushing better eating. You could say to some extent he's pushing what Michelle Obama pushed 15 years ago, but whatever. He's pushing, organic eating, all that. That's great. But if we're looking for a more holistic approach to the nation's health, because the nation is not in particularly good shape right now, you'd want better access. Yeah, so you'd want better access to good food. So like when Zoran Mamdani talks about food deserts in New York City, it's kind of interesting. Like that's something on which he should be aligned to, or Bobby Kennedy should be aligned to him almost. Getting people decent food is,
except it's the government overreach.
right. But getting people decent food seems like something that people on both sides of the aisle should have some interest in. And whether that function is served by the government or some other entity, we can have that discussion. But it seems like people should want other people to have access to clean water, decent food, and chance to exercise and move and whatnot. But part of that holistic approach is preventative care, not just looking for the pound of cure. And a lot of preventative care, I think it's a heck of a lot easier when you have decent insurance and you can go to the doctor and get your checkup and do stuff like that, rather than wait until your kidneys have failed.
Well,
and you're going to cost the government $1 bajillion.
The issue that we haven't discussed is that what he is championing is that some of us might have autism because of Tylenol. And if you have autism, there's other health. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like the attention is just not given to the important issues. and I wish that they would be. The important issues to me, which are the general health of everybody.
Yeah.
Uh, it's very disheartening. Um, it there really is this really horrible feeling of people like me, and definitely more in Gen Z, of just this nihilism that nothing is going to work out and it's hopeless,
Mm.
and causes people to be disinterested in the political system altogether, um,
Mm.
or radicalizes people into believing really stupid stuff because
Mm-hmm.
that's all they're seeing. They don't have hope for anything else. Um, I I guess I worry that I worry that if we keep, I feel like each party is talking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more of like they're not talking to each other, but they're talking across each other. So
Yeah.
each person, each party has their own agenda, and they're just speaking it, and they're not really engaging or having any real progress made on trying to meet people where they're at and try to find a solution. It's like, oh, we need to do this, and if we don't, like, the whole world's going to end and things will blow up and blah blah blah. Or I I just think there's not a lot of real conversations happening where people are considering the other side
Mm-hmm.
and trying to find a real solution. Like, there's got to be a solution where they can lower insurance premiums and they can get something else that they want to that's less egregious, but
Let me
I don't know.
okay. So let's we're gonna tie things up, not with a bow, but we're gonna end on a
It better be a negative note because I'm here.
it's gonna be a more positive note.
I'll try,
No.
I'll try
So
to bring us back to negative by the time we're done. Don't
the
worry.
first point is not really the positive one. It's that I think with Congress, the one of the incredibly frustrating things, and I think we're seeing it play out now, is that their primary goal, or a like co-primary goal, a big goal, is not just to fix a problem. It's to, that they're trying to get support for the midterms or something, trying to accumulate more power. Like, they're trying to win something in the eyes of the American people. They're not trying to fix a problem. They're trying to look good in the eyes of the American people. But they are human, and they are as humans, they're kind of dumb, and so they don't really know how things are going to play. It's like, we're planting our flag here. They don't know how it's actually going to go, and they're going to try and dictate how people take it, but it's not going to, it might be tough. Anyway, but it does seem, I think, this is kind of repeating your point in a sense, they are less trying to fix problems and more trying to, have their party look good in the eyes of the American people and the other party look bad, which is really annoying.
Maybe we need to provide a career route for failed politicians or something, so they don't feel like they have to hold on to their job.
I think they're making plenty of money.
Because if that's the part, I wonder, why do you care so much?
What if we made like a pickleball league? It's like you play professional pickleball in this special former congressperson league.
I mean, I'd rather it be boxing.
Ooh.
So you have Republicans versus Democrats.
Yeah.
In some combat sport.
Yeah.
Or maybe chess. I don't know. One of the two. So there, the very cynical part of me wants to say that these people that are in Congress that aren't doing anything, resting on their laurels, they're selfish and prideful and worrying about themselves to the point of not worrying about the American people. And they are focused on looking like they're doing well at the cost of everything else. So let's provide let's provide an alternate means for them to feel good about themselves in some way, so they can do their job or get out and
Yeah.
let someone else do it. It's not a possible thing.
Something to think about, though.
It's just a wish.
But the honest positive, and this is kind of like Mr. Rogers, how he had that quote. It's like, when anything is terrible, look around for the helpers.
Mhm.
And the thing is, like, I think donations to food banks. Why not this week? I saw emails at work. I've seen other stuff. I think normal everyday people really are doing a lot to try and make sure
on both sides.
that, to make sure their fellow Americans are okay. And I think that really is cool and heartening. And I think another thing to think about, and maybe we leave people with this, there is a great degree to which party politics are just straight up stupid. Because what you have is a problem. The problem is that a great many Americans cannot make enough money, or do not make enough money, to provide food for themselves or their families. That's the problem. And then, like, there are different ways you can go about solving that. Maybe some of them are partially done at the national level. Maybe some of them are partially done at the local level, state level, whatever. But it feels like whatever your political ideology is, like, it's. I think it's easier to solve problems if you start with the problem, not with the ideology. Like, start with the problem, not with the solution.
Yeah.
Work to really understand the problem, be open to different solutions, and then, maybe go from there. Because the whole thing where it's just fighting about the ideologies, with it feels a little esoteric.
It's circular and not solutions oriented.
You end up with a lot of poor, hungry people.
Yeah.
So, the positive thing is that the non-Congress people in the great United States seem to be trying to help one another out.
Yeah, as much as I am negative about the government situation and, like, just kind of life in general, I do still have lots of faith in humanity in general, just in your average person, because when you get to know someone and actually ask them questions about what they believe and why they believe it, and it's very rare that you'll find an individual that's just full of malice and hate and just wants to destroy everything that the opposition is in favor of. It's really a lot more nuanced, a lot more balanced, and it just so happens that their core beliefs align with an individual that has a certain platform, and the specifics don't matter that much, and they don't want other people to suffer. Some of them do, but I think it's a very small. Yeah. It's a very small percentage of people that that get so much attention from everywhere. And I know that if we had an opportunity to talk to every single person that disagreed with us, I'm sure both parties, for the most part, would walk away and be like, we agree on way more than I would have thought. Yeah. It's just these couple of core things that kind of sent us in a different direction. So I hope that the people in general on both sides can manage to find some way to get some normalcy and some power back to what people actually want, because I don't think the majority of America wants people to pay more for insurance. Like I don't think that's a thing. Right. I don't think everyone's like, oh wow, I really hope I get to pay $1,400 for really crappy insurance next month.
They're competing ideas for reducing insurance costs. Yeah. Not like.
Yeah. So there's a solution, and I do think that people can work together, but there's this issue of just not talking directly to each other right now that someone will fix it. I don't know who it'll be. Maybe our sponsor will step in.
Are you referring to God or A&W?
Is there a difference?
For that, tune in next time. All right. No, that was good. Yeah. Yeah. It's easy. It's a lot easier to hate and misunderstand at a distance. All right. Well, and with that, goodbye. All right. And that was the interview. Thank you very much for listening. If you wouldn't mind, please do leave a review for the podcast. I believe those are important. And subscribe to the newsletter, which will be linked in the show notes or can be found at neverclosetheinquiry.substack.com. Thanks.